What I've got here is a project or a class named while test, because today we're going to go over the while loop, which lets us iterate over some value. So what is iteration? Normally iteration is formally defined as the repetition of a process. And the definition holds true for Java because in iteration we're going over something multiple times. Let's initialize an integer x to 1. And we'll create a while loop here. Now the syntax is similar to an if statement. We'll use the keyword while, and then two parentheses. We'll do some comparison between these parentheses. That means we'll generate these brackets for us, and whatever is between these comparisons, if true, will be evaluated between the brackets. So we can check x is less than 101, and Java has several comparison operators. You've already seen equals. Two equal signs will be equivalence, equality. You'll have less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. So what this while loop will do is check if x is less than 101. And if x is less than 101, let's print x. So what's actually going to go on here? Well, if we run this, we'll get this. Now you can stop your project manually, that means by clicking this red button, stop. Since x is 1, and this while loop checks for the comparison in here, 1 is less than 101. Now if this comparison is true between the parentheses, the while loop will execute whatever is between the brackets. If the comparison is false, it will execute what's outside of the brackets, which is therefore outside of the while loop. Now x equals 1, we initialized x to 1, so the first time 1 is less than 101, and Java will execute this print line. But we never change the value of x, so the next time that we do the while loop, the next time we iterate over x still equals 1. So we're just going to do this forever because 1 is always less than 101. To change the value of x, we can do several things. First of all, we can increment it by 1 just using the statement x++. And in fact, if you're familiar with the language C++, that's where the name comes from. It's an outgrowth of C, so to augment it, they use C++, which increments it by 1. So a bit of history there. If we run this, we'll find that this code prints the numbers from 1 to 100. Now, by the time that x equals 101, this condition is false. So the while loop will not execute whatever is in here, and it will break outside of the brackets, outside of the loop, into here. Now we can show that by printing out the while loop is done. And if we print that, we'll find out that the while loop is done after x is 101. This makes sense. Now you can also increment x by assigning it to its past value. So here we're saying the new value of x, make that equal to, assign the value of the old x, which we have here as 1, add that 1 to that value, assign that to the new value. So what we have at first is 1 is less than 101, printing 1, and then x equals 1 plus 1, so x equals 2. Now that x equals 2, 2 is less than 101. We'll print out 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3, so x will become 3. And we'll do this over and over until x becomes 101, because by that time, 101 is not less than 101, and we'll have to break out of the while loop because this condition is false now. We can show you this by using an equal, less than or equals to statement. So if x is less than or equal to 101, we'll also print 101 because when x equals to 101, this condition is still true. So we'll print this out. Now we don't have to make x equal to 1, we can make it virtually anything. So if we start off from 10, this will print out the values from 10 to 100. So iteration is a very useful tool. And eventually we'll get into another form of iteration using the for loop, which will let us do a little bit more. That will be in the next video.